We ignore that, though. Good morning. This is Justice's Waiting Room. This is a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. And hey, I'm a socialist. We haven't talked about that in a while. At the top of the show. So, hey, I just want equality for all. I want everyone to have universal health care, education, income, and housing. I want you to achieve your dreams. I want you to get the education you want. I want you to live in the house that fits your family. I want you to have dollars in your pocket. That way you don't think about stealing or doing something illegal or losing your moral compass. And I think that's one of the biggest problems I have with capitalism is that the desire to continue to increase the amount of dollars that you make, oftentimes people have to sacrifice their morals and say, oh, you don't have to tell the truth anymore. Everybody else is lying, right? And I've been through that working in corporate America. I'm a white collar worker. I've been for a long time. I know I don't look like I look like a fucking lumberjack, but morning Angie, morning Debs. So the way this show works every morning, instead of me sitting behind a graphic, I'll just start and we'll just go. Morning Hugo. Okay. Balls. Every morning, instead of me sitting behind a graphic playing a song, I'm just gonna put a link to Edwin Starr's War. And I'm sure you know this song. I can promise, but you probably didn't know the words. So good morning, everybody. Hope you had a good Saturday. Happy to meet you at the halfway point of your weekend. Morning, Danielle. And one of the things that I must say, I keep watching videos, and I don't consider myself like smart enough to make that decision, but I keep watching videos of people that I like have come to respect, and they're like, I'm a former conservative. And in my head, I'm like, conserve what? Like, you mean you're a former racist that realized that you were being racist? Because, like, that's, again, I want to point out that at the root of all of this is this weird, and we got to stick the correct word at the top, and that's fucking weird. This weird perception that a certain political party in this country has that it's you literally at like the first four words of your question are the problem. That's the problem with using your anecdotal experience to guide your overall moral compass, right? It's being short-sighted. Understand this: if you look backwards, if you look at your family, right, and stay outside your parents, right, to your cousins and shit, and keep going back and up the tree. We're all related. If you go back far enough. Oh, so what your brain hole just did was it started out with a question, what's wrong with racism? Fucking everything. Everything is wrong. And then you're like, and because racism's wrong, and then some people become racist because of their experience with people. Have you ever been to a Balkan country? And it's like that doesn't mean it's okay because it exists in other places. In fact, if you look up your family tree, we're all related. So when you call someone a racial slur, that's your cousin, you're a fucking asshole. So just know that. And if your wife looks like you, guess what? You're closely related. That's right. All you motherfuckers that people have called you cousin fuckers, right? But if you and your spouse, if you look alike, you're more closely related. hmm So if you have blonde hair and blue eyes and you marry someone that has blonde hair and blue eyes, I can make the assumption that y'all are cousins. See how that works? See, if you can dislike someone for the color of their skin, I can assume that you're fucking your cousin based on the color of your skin. Isn't that crazy? Yes, it is fucking batshit crazy. You should not be judging people based on the color of their skin. You should judge them based on the content of their character. I'm pretty sure you were taught that in fucking elementary school. By the way, I'm pretty sure when they rolled the dare vans around was about the time they started letting us all know that hey, you're all shit. You get what I'm saying? Oh, okay. Somebody on TikTok, I don't even know who this person is, but nothing you have said, I feel dumber for having interacted. Somebody said that's not why people are racist. Sometimes it's not about the skin color. And I just want to say that's the second stupidest shit that person has said today, and therefore I have nothing further. I have nothing further. You need to go to the back of the line. Jesus Christ on a bike. I mean, what? I'm literally trying to think if I have ever been racist towards someone. Like, I did not like someone because of the color of their skin. I will tell you, I was a manager. No, I was a manager. I was a fucking laborer at a plant, and one of my colleagues was Russian. And one time we were smoking a cigarette and we were having a conversation, and he said he wanted to see the downfall of American democracy. And all I could think was, if it weren't for that specifically, he was all right. He was all right, but like had a hard time hanging out with a person outside of fucking work that's like a Russian exile that wants to see the downfall of American society. Do you get what I'm saying? You see how that might be like that might be the only person I've ever met where I'm like, man, fucking Russians. Also, I would like to point out that Russia is an enemy to the United States and has bounties on American soldiers and paid 200 up to $250,000 a mission to kill Americans in Afghanistan. So I know that there's like something in someone's brain in my audience right now where they're like, "Hey, not all Russians." Okay, man, that's not. It's not even because people are Russian that they're our enemy. It's because they're our enemy and happen to be Russian. And if you look over the course of, oh, I don't know, it's been a while, okay? Many years, decades even. They called it the Cold War. You might research this. And what came out of the Cold War? Brainwashing, right? The knowledge that if you lie to someone every day for 2 fucking weeks, you can get them to believe whatever you want. Yes. That's what Cold War era science yielded. I don't know how we got our live access removed for that. What did we say? Hate speech? Where was their hate speech? Hmm. Hmm. Uphill. That's silly. So anyway, we'll keep saying what we were saying. Weird. As you can see, TikTok is pro-Russia. Um, it's not like I was sitting there talking about China. I mean, holy shit. Anyway, we're gonna keep doing what we do every day. Hey, if you haven't gotten into Reddit to figure out how you can get involved in protest, boycott, and strike, consider these couple subreddits. We got a live violation. Somebody said that we were being hateful. I'm trying to figure out where I was hateful. Pretty sure I was all factual. That's the good news about operating within the terms of service is that you can get my show banned for a few minutes. We are getting too big, Allison. We went like several days without anything. This is what and so the show keeps getting bigger every day and people are listening to like a reasonable person talk and they're like, "Wait, this guy is saying like racism's bad, okay? So is being a bigot otherwise." And that includes shit like sexism, right? That so once we've established like racism and sexism are non-starters for me. Like the powers that be are like can't have this very long. He doesn't innately hate whole groups of people, right? He's saying shit like free Palestine. Like understand half of all the people that live in Palestine is women and kids. That's who they're fucking killing, by the way. Just say it with your whole chest. Stop looking away. We did it. Aren't you proud of being American? Those are our fucking USA on those bombs. But yeah, one of the things that I think is going kind of under the radar, Tim Waltz is fucking hilarious. I think sorry to like break cadence and try to be funny. Um man, Michael Waltz, the one of Trump's cabinet picks, he had to step down over Signalgate, whiskey leaks, right? He fucking he posted Michael Waltz has left the chat on Twitter. Hey, I'm just letting you know he's putting out some bangers. And this is coming from someone that I went to school and got a degree in graphic design with a focus on social media. I went to school to be a shit poster. And I'm capable of pointing out when somebody is a quality shit poster. You get what I'm saying? So I think I really like AOC, right? I really like AOC. But America has this problem with putting a woman in charge. And I'm just saying, if AOC ain't it, I I like Tim Waltz. He's a football coach. He's got a little bit of snap. You know what I'm saying? He has still the best sign out of all of this. Elon Musk is a terrible president. 10 out of 10 no notes. Thanks, Allison. Free Palestine, Slavia, Ukraine. Yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back. We didn't do it. We didn't do anything that they sorry. I just submitted my appeal. And again, I want to make sure I re-say what I said on TikTok that got us fucking banned. Uh, it actually makes sense if you meet someone that's Russian and you don't like them, especially I have met someone that's from Russia that moved to the United States, and as I got to know them in a casual conversation, they said, and I would like to see the downfall of American democracy. And I was just like, the what? Like, how do you read like the Constitution and Bill of Rights, and you're like, fuck all that. I can't. I don't know what to do with my hands. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't operate like that. So it's pretty easy for me to say Slava Ukraine, free Palestine. And I don't often dip my toes into drama because I'm a grown fucking man and I would rather extend the hand to, you know, I want to be Hassan's friend, his actual friend. Because to talk about internet drama for a moment, watching Hassan Piker and Ethan Klein, watching the demise of their relationship is fucking sad. Okay? And it makes me want to be friends with Hassan and be like, dude, I ain't never turning on you like that. I'm not capitulating to fucking Israel because their followers have money. I just want you to know Israel's a made up place. It's not real. Doesn't really exist. It's an amalgamation of stolen land. Similar to the United States. But that doesn't make it better. None of and if you look at people involved, like the founder, and there's another person that I've posted in our Discord. Is it David Ben Gvir? He's a horrible person. And these people are at like the top. It's like BB's uh you know, closest allies. Um and just the way they talk about willfully wanting to exterminate a population. Like like it's genocide's nothing to them. And they think of other human beings as like rats, as like vermin. And again, you know, it's kind of funny now, by the way, if you've been in taking my content long enough, we talked about Martin Niemöller a long time ago. And I don't bother to correct people when they misspeak on the good pastor. But a lot of people have mischaracterized him as a Nazi. And I just want you to know he's a Nazi sympathizer. Those things are totally different, right? He's still a papal. He was just a sympathizer, but he turned on them eventually, and he's got that famous quote about how first they came for first they came for the uh, socialists. I didn't say anything because I'm not a socialist, which is fucking crazy. Because like, how are you not a socialist? There's so many things that, as a result of living in the United States, that are socialized, that if it weren't, life would be much harder. And so, like, once you learn what socialism is, what a socialist looks like, acts like, is, and people call themselves a Democrat, right? Because they believe in democracy, and Republicans because they believe in a republic, right? No, neither of those fucking things. People don't call themselves Democrats because they believe in democracy. Just like people don't call themselves Republican because they believe in a republic. Okay? It's much more than red versus blue. I've been saying this the whole fucking time. It is rich versus poor. It gets played out every day right in front of our faces. And I've taken to Reddit. I've gone away from Twitter. So one of the things you've noticed here is I haven't talked about Twitter in ages because I'm just not on it anymore. Okay, whatever's going on, I'm not reading it. Okay, so yeah, sorry about that. We submitted an appeal at 8:14, so it usually takes about 25 minutes. So I think it's been about 10 minutes. No, that's a lie. It's been 5. Okay. He said they can't read. Right. Oh, I saw this today and I was like, man, this sucks, huh? And I'm just letting you know, Bob, I will never go there. And I hope none of you ever go there. You couldn't pay me to do that. Think about this. All that that area has known is violence since like the 60s at the minimum. And I'm probably wrong. So for the past 75 fucking years, basically, since 48, right? This whole like area has just been nothing but wanton violence. And you're going to turn it into a golf course and a hotel and a resort, and people are actually going to spend their hard-earned money to go there? Yeah. Yeah, right. No. One of the things that the Trumps don't understand is how wildly unpopular they are with the English-speaking world, right? Remember, one of the I can't remember which comedian said it, but they said Donald Trump is the poor man's version of a rich man, right? That only works so long. Nah, not even a vacation. I would give it away or just not go, actually. Just not go. Nope. And I want to make sure that if we're talking about, hey, this is one of those things, Bob, when you open the can of worms, you got to talk about it. Okay. One of the problems if you support Donald Trump, one of the problems that you're going to run into here when it comes to his desire to turn Gaza into the Riviera, okay, is that, first of all, Donald Trump is notorious for not paying his workers. So you mean to tell me he's gonna build build a resort hotel in the Gaza Strip, which has been nothing but fucking violence for however long, and people are gonna willfully come there and help him build that, do the physical labor, and he's not going to do to them what Donald Trump's done in Dubai. And so we're going to talk about what Donald Trump has done in Dubai. Donald Trump built a hotel slash resort in Dubai. And he hired people from Myanmar to come to Dubai, hundreds of them, to come and work and promise them good wages. And when they all showed up, they took all their identification, put them in group housing, which is like 500 people living in a gymnasium with one shower and one toilet. And then they don't have any documentation, so they can't leave. And their rent is more than they get paid. So they're stuck. They have to be here and have to work. So, first of all, imagine going to a resort where everyone's there against their will that works there. The people cooking your food and shit. Shut the fuck up. Right? Right. So the people that work there at this resort, this Trump resort in Dubai, they can never leave. They can't afford it. Yeah. So don't you think that's what's going to happen in fucking Gaza? Is they're going to have to hire a bunch of people from outside of Gaza cuz ain't nobody in Gaza going to want to participate in this build. So they're going to have to hire whoever will take the job, and they're going to focus on small population groups. So I don't know what's next up in size from Myanmar, but they're gonna literally take hundreds of fucking people that are not from Gaza and get them there and get them to build this beautiful resort, right? And I hate calling it fucking beautiful because it probably will be pretty, right? But you would never in a million fucking years go there because you have to know up front someone's getting hosed. Someone is working without pay And last I checked, that's slave labor. And again, I'm going to keep saying it. That's the whole goal of these billionaires is they've realized they are not fucking cool. The best and the brightest don't want to work for them no more. So what are they going to do? They're going to invest in private prisons around the world, and they're going to stick everybody in them that they don't like and make them work for them, just like Donald Trump has shown he's fully able to do. And it's just like he said, man, he could kill someone on Fifth Avenue and nobody would say a word. Except the state of New York fucking hates Donald Trump. So I want to make sure we point that out. Like if we're gonna say it, we gotta realize. Okay. Yep. But know that your resistance, by the way, is working. Okay, your resistance is working. Here's why: they're making moves. They're making moves to make it illegal to boycott. By the way, they're trying to take away your First Amendment rights. Okay, boycott, protest, and strike your little ass off. Okay, that means Mayday got to them, and understand Mayday goes for 90 fucking days. So these politicians that think they can do whatever the fuck they want, and it's not coming back to you, I can promise you. Look at this fucking thing. I mean, it's what we've been asking for. Yeah. We've been asking for daily fucking protests, right? This is what you wanted. To me said, what? Wait, really, what? Danielle Hill, what? You should do this. Indiana's 7th Congressional District. Okay. So, for the record, I'm learning some census information about Indiana. So, hey, we should do this. We should all do this. Go to. I know. I said Danielle Hill. Yeah, they're trying to make it illegal to boycott, protest, and strike. Yeah. No, we knew this was coming. It's part of Project 2025. I want to make sure also while we're talking about Project 2020 2025, we say, hey, they are celebrating success when they've had none. Donald Trump in his first 100 days in office signed 5 bills, one of which was a continuing resolution, one of another which banned fucking paper straws. So that leaves you with 3 fucking pieces of legislation in 100 fucking days. That what? He's the least active president in 7 decades. So I get it that he thinks he's going to rule by executive order and presidential order, but those are akin to a memo. They are not law. So I know that it feels like he's beating you down, but he's losing because he's a fucking loser. And he loses every day. It's just he's a president, so it doesn't look like he's losing. It looks like he's negotiating. And I also want to point out that he's not negotiating. One of the things that he promised was that he was going to deliver tariff negotiations with 200 fucking countries. And I just wanted to point out that's not fucking happening. Make sure we say that out loud. That shit is not, that's not going to happen. Mm-mm. 46% of toy companies in the US say they expect to go out of business within weeks. If, by the way, if you ever wondered what sort of business that we need to start up, we need a unionized toy maker in the United States, like a toy store, toy maker slash toy store that's unionized, that understands like product and how to make your future proofs. Anyway, just thinking out loud here. Okay, you know me, I like to read the data, right? 128,000 federal workers lost their jobs in the last 60 days. 40% of cargo ships leaving China for the US were empty today. Shoes are expected to go up by 87% in price. Clothing by 65%. The US exports expected to drop by 18%. Tourism to the United States is down at least 20%, and all foreign goods are up at least 10% on the US dollar. One of the new subreddits that I found that I think is really useful, Suppress News. It gives you a really clear picture of what's going on here, right? For the record, I feel like I never see Letitia James, right? And I feel like I should see her more often. She's one of Donald Trump's more prominent enemies. Here's Letitia James in the fucking flesh. The President of the United States cannot, with the strike of a pen, or in his case, a stupid Sharpie, cannot violate the law of the United States. Okay. Also, I know shit's real sad out here. Donald Trump's trying to fucking defund PBS. I just want to make sure that you know that he can't do that. No. See, what happened when they established PBS is they actually created a network, right? That the government can't touch, and PBS falls under this network. So you can't directly defund PBS. It's not something that's touchable or reachable by the US government. That was like the whole point. You got to understand like free press is like vital, okay? If you are having like a wonder of what you could or should be doing with your lifetime, if you live near a major US city and you are just like, oh my God, I'm stuck in a fucking rat race, Aaron Parnas that shit. Become the fucking news. If anything, if you've learned anything, listen to me. Aaron Parnas's daddy, Lev Parnas, was super close with Donald Trump. Like, that kid is about as close to a Trumper that you'll ever fucking get in your life. His dad worked for the guy. And he's making a fucking killing talking about the news, right? Breaking news. You could do that. Hmm? Hmm? And ultimately, your daddy ain't Lev Parnas. And so eventually, in my humble opinion, eventually it catches up with him. That is dad's Lev Parnas. And if his dad doesn't work hard enough against Donald Trump, it's going to have a negative impact on Aaron Parnas. You want to talk about why I don't have kids? Imagine that shit. Yeah. Yeah. Which he totally did, by the way. Okay. For all my sports fans, I'm excited today. It's the reason I'm wearing a Colts hat today. The Indiana Pacers have made it another round in the NBA playoffs, and they play the Cleveland Cavaliers today in Cleveland. And this is important for me because I was born in Ohio, and I've spent 30 years here in Indiana, and it's Indiana versus Ohio. Um, so I told my wife, like, I don't ever ask to leave the house, but I told her today I'd like to go get drunk and watch this Pacers game somewhere. I don't, I don't even drink. So, mostly because it's like I can't lose, right? Um, Nobody asked, and for the record, I hate when people do that shit. When they're like, people keep asking me, and it's like, no, they didn't. Nobody asked. Nobody's talking. We're not communicating. What are you talking about? Okay. Um, I think the Pacers are going to the NBA Finals, and if the Warriors can win this series against the Rockets, who I fucking hate, um, I think the Warriors could give Oklahoma City a run for their money in the West. And while I expect OKC, who's been resting now, um, and I told my players there are 5 NBA teams that are resting right now, and 2 of those are going to the NBA Finals. One of the things that the NBA Finals shows is your conditioning level, right? Like how good can you just run up and down night after night? Because the games are bang bang bang, right? Um, I think you have a lower percentage chance of winning an NBA championship if your series are going like more than 5 games. So there are the Pacers and Cavs and Boston, the Celtics, in the East, and Oklahoma City, and I'm trying to remember who else is resting. Excuse me. Uh, who just Minnesota? So Minnesota or Oklahoma City are resting in the West, and then the Pacers, Cavs, and Celtics in the East. All those teams, in my eyes, because they've had this week of rest right here, because they cleaned up their series, it tells me these are the championship level teams. Which, hey, as a Pacers fan, that's where you want. It's once your boys in the mix, right? Um, and I also think if you look at Bob's a Celtics fan. Fuck yeah, dude. Hell yeah, man. I obviously I've spent a lot of my life in Indiana, and as a result, you're gonna be a Larry fucking Bird fan, okay? And as a tall white boy that could shoot, um, dude, there is a video of the '92 Dream Team. I'm pretty sure it's the '92 Dream Team. It might be '84. I don't remember. Don't call me on this. But there's a video of the dream team. It was like Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Karl Malone, all them. And I think I was born in '83, so towards the tail end of Larry's fucking career. Um, so yeah, when my eyes were truly opened, was like '89, and then Michael Jordan had been in the league for like 5 years, just tearing shit up. Um, and then obviously we lived in Chicagoland when the Bulls won their first three-peat. And then, because dead ass, imagine that you're a sports fan. Imagine that you're like a basketball fan. Imagine that your dad played basketball on active duty in the Navy, right? Uh, Played against Bob Knight, not for him. We played against him, okay? And I went to Bulls games before they were champions, and Imagine like you live in a city where you win back to back to back NBA championships, and you're the most popular athlete and sports team on planet Earth. And then my dad started having fucking heart trouble, and the doctor said move equidistant from your families. And I was like, "What? No, we're the winners. We're winners. We should stay here. They're winning. Like, what are we? No." And we moved outside of Indianapolis to split my parents' families because half my family's from northern Indiana, like Warsaw, Indiana, and the other half's from southern Indiana. And so we moved to like Indianapolis area to split the difference in case my old man croaked. Um, and obviously when you move from a very culturally diverse area, right? Like I recall directly, my babysitter in Illinois was not my babysitter. One of my mom's closest friends that babysat me, she was like Yugoslavian. She English wasn't even her first language. You know what I mean? So I grew up like pretty culturally diverse, and then moved to like an all white community in Indianapolis, Indiana. You can't be a white boy in an all white community and be a Bulls fan. So I acclimated, which I think any young kid would have fucking done in my spot. I'm the biggest guy here. I'm clearly like going to be an all-star of the basketball team the whole time. For the record, the whole time I was a child, right? We'll see what happens again in high school. It's generally, I knew going into high school that it's a popularity contest to be on the basketball team, right? Um, it was about the only popularity contest that didn't win. You know what I mean? Um, but I always thought it was crazy to have won three in a row and then move, right? And there's an off year where Michael Jordan didn't play, and then they came back and won three more in a row. That was like the first 6 years of my like. I can remember those times vividly because I was a Bulls fan, right? And it was like my team's still winning. You know what I mean? So, and of course it's not really how it works, right? They're not my team. I don't have any hand in them winning. And I know we're talking about sports a lot today. It's Sunday. It's a dead news day. Um, I kind of became after Michael Jordan retired. Then I was like, okay, I'll be a full blown Pacers fan. And then Pacers were actually super competitive for a long time. Um, so yeah, but hell yeah, I've been a Bulls slash Pacers basketball fan my whole life. My wife hates it. She didn't even like watching it live. That's her only flaw, you know. Otherwise, she does most. She's all right most of the time. And my parents, when I was growing up, my parents also like hosted. So when there was like playoff games or football games, my parents were the ones hosting the party. Holy shit! Did y'all hear about this earthquake in southeastern New Mexico, southwest and West Texas? 5.4 magnitude. 7:47 p.m. local time. So 13 hours ago. Between Midland and what is that, Juarez? 5.4 magnitude. Earthquake occurred at a depth of 3.9 miles. 1,500 public responses, followed in the region by two smaller 2.9 magnitude aftershocks. Wow. So, Yeah, it's West Texas. It's what do we say? Between Midland, Texas, and Juarez, New Mexico, like equidistant, right in the middle. Was not in a major population area, thank goodness. Yeah, overnight. I already shared that. Cops disbanding pro-Palestinian camp. Yo! Okay, so I started reading on this motherfucker the other day. Are all these old men creeps or what? Holy shit. So this story is about the former Abercrombie and Fitch CEO. For the record, your boy has never owned a single stitch of clothing from Abercrombie and Fitch and couldn't be fucking prouder. Okay. I was like a Old Navy American Eagle on my best day, kid. Okay. The former CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch, for the record, I want to say he's like a Epstein light. Like he definitely a sex trafficker. Just calling a spade, friends. Um, for sure. But he has Alzheimer's disease, Lewy body, and the residual effects of a traumatic brain injury. And I'm just like, does he have the brain injury because he was a fucking sex trafficker and somebody gave him the old 1-2? No? Okay. But yeah, yeah. Ruled unfit for trial. Jesus. This is all the news they're hiding from us, by the way. Because I didn't know this either. Did you know there was an oil spill? A week long oil spill that they're cleaning up? Yeah, Allison? Mm. On April 24th, so 10 days ago, armed ICE agents broke into an home occupied by a family of American citizens in Oklahoma City in the middle of the night. Oh, no, we talked about that. Was this the one where it was the wrong family of people? Where was that? Oh, they censored the shit out of this. Oh, you know what? I've realized what our show is able to do. And I'm not necessarily bragging, but I just realized. So when I go on Reddit, a lot of times I'll click on something that we're about to talk about and the comments are disabled. And I go to the story and I scroll down and they've disabled the fucking comments. And I'm like, "Oh, it's news without commentary." Like, "Oh, that's exactly why this fucking show exists, right? Why we're under so much pressure constantly and it's like being hunted, right? Mom and two little girls. Dad was on the way that weekend. Yo! This is why they're trying to defund NPR and PBS, because they're putting this shit out. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says it's unacceptable to commute. Two commercial jetliners had to abort landings this week at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport because of an Army Black Hawk helicopter. The incident Thursday afternoon occurred 3 months after 67 people were killed in a mid-air collision near the airport between a Black Hawk and a passenger jet. In an email reported by Politico, Chris Sen, Federal Aviation Administration Assistant Administrator for Government Industry Affairs, said the Army helicopter took a scenic route around the Pentagon versus proceeding directly from the west to the heliport. Sen said the helicopter violated safety standards and required air traffic controllers to order two commercial jetliners to perform go-around maneuvers, aborting their landings and returning on another approach. Restrictions were placed on helicopter flights near the airport after January 29th. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, but executive orders aren't law. They don't mean anything. It's like, it's right. It's like writing "fuck you" on a napkin. It doesn't do anything. He might be able to hold up some funds, but he's gonna get sued. He's gonna lose. And the funds are gonna go to, and oh, by the way, I wanted to point this out. He can't do it. When they founded NPR, they founded a network that hosts it, and the network can't be touched by the government. So understand, he cannot directly defund PBS or NPR. He can't do it. He could write an executive order all day, but he can't actually touch it. Just know that, right? Just know that. When we talk about executive orders, it's like the last thing we should talk about. Because none of that shit is becoming a bill and getting passed into law, nor is it legal. It's not law. No one's following that, okay? Remember, in his first 100 plus days in office, Donald Trump has signed 5 pieces of legislation into effect. One of which was a continuing resolution. One banned paper straws, and that leaves you with 3 pieces of legislation that man's signed into effect in his first 100 days in office. Which, by the way, means he's like the least productive president in history. Those executive orders mean no things. Nothing. Again, an executive order is like if you go to a restaurant, okay, and you watch the person at the table next to you write, "fuck you," and they hand it to you. That's an executive order. It isn't a law. Doesn't actually do or mean anything. Nobody dies. It's bluster. Okay? That's how you know he doesn't know what he's doing. You can't rule by executive order. You know, if I were president, you know what I would do? Every day, I would sign an executive order that said, "Happy birthday to all people who have happy birthdays today. Happy birthday to all the dogs and cats. Signed the President of the United States." What are you going to do about that? Happy birthday to everybody whose birthday it is today. Have a great day to all the dogs and cats. It's better than this shit, right? Be nice to animals. Signed, POTUS. Obey traffic signals. Signed, POTUS. If I were president. Just know money does not make you powerful. Right? Say it with me. Money does not make you powerful. Kentucky man arrested in Florida days after winning 167 million Powerball jackpot. James Farthing, 50 years old, was arrested Wednesday on charges of battery on a law enforcement officer, battery, and resisting an officer without violence. Farthing had been at the Island Grand at Tradewinds at St. Pete Beach when he got into a fight with another patron, according to an arrest affidavit. Okay. Pinellas County deputies tried to break it up, but Farthing ended up kicking one of them in the face, and he attempted to flee. So again, have a presidential address. Tell your dog I said hi. Yeah, yeah. Let's see if we got our shit back yet. So, and again, one of the things that I want to point out, because a lot of what I see, that's what I'm saying, Dubs. Money does not make you powerful, right? Guy wins $167 million jackpot. What happens? He takes his dumbass to a casino in St. Pete and gets into a fist fight. The sheriff tries to break the fucking fight up and he kicked the fucking cop in the face. And then he tried to fucking run. Like I said, money doesn't make you powerful, right? But that money corrupts just like that power does, right? Where I've tried to tell people, hey, heavy is the head that wears the crown. And keep in mind, it's like 50 million each between he and his mom after they split it up, and it's not like he lost the money. He still got the money. Okay. Yeah. But look, I played poker my whole life, so that story is kind of like, yeah, I get it. Bought a lottery ticket, hit real big. Now he's bulletproof and goes to a fucking casino and acts like an asshole. What happens? Yes. Seen it 1,000 times. Do you know I used to play poker every day in a casino for 2.5 years. Did quite well for myself. And do you know who I saw regularly? And you're like, what are you even doing here? People that had gotten hurt at work that got a settlement go straight to the fucking casino. And you're just like, no, pay all your debt off. What are you doing? You still have bills. And they're like, nah, man, I'm gonna have a good time. Oh, money, dude. Now, as again, Dubs, as I sit on my throne of lies, okay, in the highest paying job I've ever had, I talk about how not important fucking money is. Okay? As I sit on my throne of lies, it's the highest paying job I've ever had. Okay. And again, I guess I think I need to do this. I am really good at my job, and one of the things that I have learned is not everybody's really good at their job. And so what I think I need to do is I need to do a better job of marketing or talking about what it is that my company and I do. Because yesterday, for example, I heard three separate people say, I don't want to do debt consolidation. Click. Now, that doesn't normally happen. That tells me that debt consolidation is a conversation that's coming up more and more often. For the record, I didn't even fucking know what that was. I didn't even know that was a thing. Okay? So I want you, the listener, if your finances are real bad and you've got a bunch of credit cards that are basically fucking maxed out and you are only able to make minimum payments, or worse, you're behind. Hey, you run risk of any credit, any unsecured account, they could just garnish your wages. That means they take it before you get paid. And I'm just starting to run into this where I'm talking to people that are dealing with garnishment. Yo, 20% of your pay before you touch it is brutal. So, hey, look, I would love to have the people that listen to me every day as my clients because there is a relationship here. I'm actually like gonna call you several times over the course of the first few months of the program to make sure you're all right. See if you have any questions, if you need any extra help. Because that's why I work here. I know this sounds fucking crazy, but one of the things that I need, like I need that shit, is I need to be able to call someone I did business with and say, hey, how are you? I'm good. Cool. I don't need anything. I was just calling to say, like, do you need anything? Do you need any help? Are there any questions I can answer? That shit, everything to me. The whole like sales process, I could give a fuck about your sales process. What I care about is customer care. How do you treat the people that are already your customers? Because those people, the people that you've already done business with, they already bought. In most instances, there's no feedback loop. Nobody gives a fuck what a customer thinks. Nobody cares about them. I do because I've helped my brother build a business. I've gone door to door in residential neighborhoods and said, "Hi, my name is Jared Malat. I'm a recently separated Marine Corps infantry veteran, and my brother and I are starting a landscaping company. However much you're paying to have your fucking yard mowed, we'll beat it. We're just trying to get up as many contracts as we can. We'd like to have the whole neighborhood if we could. And we'll mow all the yards to be congruent so everybody in the fucking neighborhood's yard looks awesome. Are you in?" And oh, by the way, I was like 87% to close. Guaranteed to save you money. Everyone's yard's gonna look fucking uniform. I was in the goddamn Marine Corps. I care about that shit. For the record, he only had to mow yards for like 2 years to make enough money to get construction equipment and start laying fucking foundations and building houses. So for the record, it's not like what we were doing wasn't working. It was making us oodles of dollars. Okay? So I know what it is about like attracting customers, getting in front of their face, actually selling your product, doing the actual labor. But then you know what I would do? I'd walk around, I'd give an assessment on our quality of labor, and then I'd go ask the customer, come out here and look at the fuck we did. Tell me if there's something we need to fix. And for the record, 99% of the time they walk in, they'd be like, this shit's hot. All I need to fucking hear. Have a good day. See you next week. Okay? So that like following up with the customer that you already did business with and like having a relationship there and actually being like, hey, I'm just something had to happen. Do you hear anything? Right? I need to be able to do that. And most of the time you can't. Just know that. In most instances, whatever the fuck you buy, you'll never talk to that person again. And I hate it. I'm not a capitalist, right? So I want the person that I did business with to have the reassurance that the guy that you did business with came to work the next day. And a week later and months later and he called you and said like everything good, right? Because again, it's not the sales process that I like give a shit about. I can do that shit in my sleep with my eyes closed. I don't care about that. What actually matters is I'm like, "Oh my god, I get to call someone I already did business with. Let's do it. Let's call them." I know you think it's like dicking around on the phone, and it's like, no, What's the best business outside of natural walk-in business? Referral. So what you're working toward is eventually this person that's spoken to you now 3 or 4 times where you're not calling to sell them shit. I'm just calling to make sure everything's okay and ask if you've heard anything or if you have any questions. And once you've done that like 2 or 3 times, that person's now talking about you with someone at work. And they're saying like, not only did they lower my unsecured debt payment by $1,000 a month and put that money in my fucking pocket where it belongs, but he followed up and he didn't want anything or to sell me anything. He was just like, "You all right?" "Yeah, I'm good. I made a life-changing decision." "Yeah, I know. You need somebody to like actually be there." And like, yes, not only was this like the correct decision, we're past that. We're on to the part where I'm like, have you heard anything? Anything happening? Right? No one else gets to do that. No other job I've ever had did they give one iota of a shit about you after you've done business, right? And I think it's one of our paths forward. It's like one of the ways forward is do better business. Understand like when you do better business and you don't lie to your customers, you're going to lose some business. Why? Because there are really people out there that you got to lie to kick it. There are really people out there. In order for them to do business, you got to tell them something fucking unnatural is going to happen, right? But what I've learned is don't cop to that. Yeah, that's right. Don't compromise your morals because the guy across from you has none. Yeah, right. It's the same position we're in the United States. There's a reason you've seen Democrats be pretty fucking quiet up to this point. That's a reason. There's a reason for that. It's never interrupt your opponent while they're making a mistake. Right? Sun Tzu, Art of War. And it's very in my eyes very obvious that they're thinking he doesn't have the assets to repeat this. What he did to win this election, he doesn't have the money. So we're going to crush him. All these special elections, look at them. Go look at midterms. Watch these midterm results. Once they figure out who's running against who, okay? And understand one of the things that you got to know that the Democratic Party is doing right now is they're trying to oust all their progressive and young leadership. So one of the things I'm hearing is they're trying to oust David Hogg. They're trying to silence AOC. They're trying to delegitimize Bernie Sanders. I've noticed they're starting to on the internet. They're starting to put some shit out about Bernie fucking Sanders, right? Just be careful, especially if you do physical labor. Hey, and I have to share this, and I wish we had a larger audience because it would make a bigger impact. But you know what I think we ought to do? CBP. Do you guys know what that is? Trying to get illegal immigrants to register themselves via an app. Register your favorite Trumper. 100%. Mm-hmm. I think you should. I think you should do that. She said no. Hey, and if you don't think that ads like that should be shown on Disney Plus, here you can go file a complaint about that. And so, yeah, that's a good action item. I would not download that app to your phone. I would not report your favorite Trumper. Um, but I would complain to Disney Plus about ads being shown on their platform, trying to tell illegal immigrants to register via an app. Um, so one of the things that sorry, this shit really bothers me, man. Um, One of the things that really bothers me is eugenics. And when you're trying to round up whole population groups and put them into concentration camps, understand Donald Trump studies dictators and he is mirroring their behavior. Not because he thinks it's good. This is the only way he's remembered. There's a reason I've said you can't just kill him. You can't martyr him. He just has to die. Because if there's any other actions taken against him, whether it's legal or right or violent, the recourse is going to be 10 times worse than if he just dies. And I'm telling you, part of the silence is people knowing he won't make it. He gonna make it 6 months. Okay. And I know that ultimately that's not what everybody wants to know or hear, right? Everybody wants some other outcome. But again, as I've said, you cannot martyr this. You can't martyr Elon Musk or Donald Trump because they will fucking worship them forever as if they're not already, right? You need a bad batch of coke or ketamine to just know what I'm saying? That's how my best friend died. But these guys wake up every day and abuse the shit, right? And show up in fucking public lit and shit. Isn't that crazy? Like it's nothing. And to understand that Donald Trump intends to run for a third term. Yeah, Debs, he's totally doing it. He's mirroring what other dictators have done. And I've told you all, look at who he's targeting. Trans people. Hey, that's the smallest population group in the United States. Oh, he's targeting Venezuelan people? Guess what? That's another very small population group in the United States. Oh, now we're learning he's got an app, CBP, where he wants people to enroll themselves as illegal immigrants. This is attempted extermination, genocide, putting people in concentration camps, attacking attacking small population groups knowing they lack representation. One of the things that I keep seeing over and over and I'm like where are the people that are going to step up in the community and stop ICE, who again, one of the things that we're finding out about ICE that we, for the record, we've known the whole time. ICE is funded by Palantir, which is Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is the same person that paid and funded the Heritage Foundation's and J.D. Vance's production of Project 2025. So these ICE agents that have been fucking deputized by the U.S. Marshals, operating without a warrant or jurisdiction in most cases, they're attacking small population groups. Venezuelan people, there's like 300,000 of them in the United States. Something like that. And even if there's 3.3 million, that's still 1% of the US population. So my numbers can be off by orders of magnitude, and I'm still fucking right. So in my eyes, the farther we get into this, the closer I get to defend yourself. Don't let yourself get arrested by ICE. These people are white supremacists, white Christian nationalists, enlisted by Peter Thiel and Palantir and deputized by U.S. Marshals like against their will. They were probably extorted into doing that. This isn't just like regular people going to their job and working for immigration and customs exchange. These are a whole different people. And remember, one of the things about law enforcement that I have to impart on other people pretty consistently is that you don't have to have a college degree to get into it. Hey, those people that have qualified immunity that you see not stopping ICE, that's for sure, that are supposed to be there to protect and serve. Yeah, they don't have to have a degree. But the good news is, hopefully, those those people that are Klan members, hopefully they're leaving the police force and going to ICE. And that those people that are in ICE that are just doing what they're told, remember that I told you during the Nuremberg trials, guess what is not an acceptable defense? I was just following orders. So again, I want to make sure that we know this administration, specifically Peter Thiel and Palantir, are funding ICE because ICE doesn't have the ability to do what it's doing. Deportation is not an arrest slash fly them to El Salvador process. It's just and also it's about the noise off of it. You see, deportation in the United States is boring. And I say that as a white person that's probably not getting deported. What I'm talking about is it's you just get a court order to show up somewhere and you got to bring all your paperwork. And if you have all your paperwork, you get to stay. And if you don't, you get a notice to vacate. I have friends that aren't white that have been I even drove someone to their deportation before. They didn't get deported, they got to stay. So, understand that they turn they went took themselves to court. They didn't get arrested. Do you understand how deportation is boring to Donald Trump? Because it's not somebody getting fucking arrested and thrown around and shit. And it's not someone getting flown to fucking CCOT. That's not deportation, guys. When they deport someone, it's because they've done something fucking wrong. Like they applied for, I don't know, a student visa and came to the United States, Elon Musk, as a student and dropped out of school. Do you see how it's like we're living in the fucking upside down? Yes, like one of the people that's absolutely having one of the biggest negative impacts on an average American's quality of life is literally an illegal immigrant. Literally. Peter Thiel, also an immigrant. David Sachs, also an immigrant. which is crazy coming from a bunch of anti-immigrant people. Like, how the fuck are you anti-immigrant and you are literally an immigrant, right? It's like Elon Musk thinks he's one of us. Ooh, appeal not approved. What do we do? We lost access to TikTok for a week. I don't think we said any hate speech. That's okay. That's why I have an agent and an agency. So I'll just let them know that I got banned for a week for saying like racism doesn't make sense and shit. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. No, I didn't. What? Yeah, it said that we were using hate speech. I'll just let my agent know. Penelope Jones. All right, so I submitted that. No, Debs, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't think we what we were doing constituted a ban. Yeah, I don't think I what I said was racist. I think when it goes to the third level, so the way it works, not many people know this, so I can spill the beans because because my content was political from the jump, the TikTok Foundation literally came to me early and was like, "You're gonna need an agent and an agency." And so my agent's name is Penelope Jones. For the record, she's badass. New Beginnings is the name of her agency. Um, and so those bans that happen within the confines of the show, you know, the ones where we're only kicked off that app for like 15 to 25 minutes and we're right back, that's as a result of having an agent. Most of the time, it takes 24 full hours to get an appeal to go through, minimum. See, when you get, for the record, when you get banned from TikTok, it's supposed to be for the day. I've never been banned for a day. For me, it's either we get banned for like 15 to 25 minutes, or we have to eat a whole week, or we've also been banned for. Do we get banned for 30 days? Because somebody was stealing from me, and then they used their much larger platform to have people brigade report me to get me banned to protect their image. Um, so yeah, I've been through this process before. So I just reach out, let them know I have to appeal this week-long ban. I know I didn't say anything, but the way it works when you initially get reported, so when that initial wave of fucking maggots comes into your chat and they fucking get your shit banned, they're all idiots every single fucking time. They miss, and we're back in like 15 minutes, and it's because a robot now has to listen to the appeal section. And long story short, like it's just captioning your work and it's looking for terms of service violations. I don't do that. So because I'm not violating terms of service, generally my first level appeal is going to go through even with an AI. Now, what happens if you get a week long ban like I just got? Now, when you appeal that, a person is going to listen to that. This time, that person that listened to this, or no, let me back up. My initial appeal heard by AI withheld the ban or upheld the ban. So the AI this time said what you said was racist. And so what will happen is uh, I go to my um, agent and I say, hey, I got a week long ban. And then there'll be a little conversation like, what did you do? And I said I was talking about how stupid racism is and how it doesn't make any sense. And they're like, okay. So somebody's going to hear what you said and they're going to be like, yeah, that's fine. Like, yeah, cool. And so I don't know how long it'll take. And I hope it's not a full week. Okay. But just know that, like, we, one of the things that you'll see a lot of people do is they started somewhere else and they wound up talking about politics and news, right? And what happened with my content is I came in the door talking about news and politics. What's going to be difficult for me is being able to branch away from news and politics, right? But what is going to be our problem is politics and news are polarizing. One, people get stressed by things they can't control all the time. So it's stressful to people and they don't like hearing bad news. And also, people want to contort what's the news is, and when they can't do that and they don't have any control, right? I don't have any handlers. I don't have someone I'm responsible to. This show is not something that I have to make money off of in order to survive. Thank God. The gods. That I could just like sit here and talk to y'all and I can eat all the crow, all the negative consequences that come from just being myself. We can handle that. I have an agent. I have an agency. I could just go to them and say, "Hey, what I was doing was not inherently wrong." Hopefully, I'm opening people's ears and they're hearing a white cis male say, "Hey, man, racism's bad. Hey, man, misogyny's bad." Right? Hey, Christian authoritarianism is bad. Right? Nationalism's not a good thing. Right? Because you need that. You need that. We need, I don't know. You need that, or I need that. Okay. And the good news is, if you're good, you're not showing up on your agent's doorstep very often. So I do kind of get a pat myself on the back. Um, so think about how we have an everyday show we have for however long, and I don't even look at that shit, right? Because one of the things I don't want to do is get caught looking at resting my laurels, right, and saying, look at all the work I've already done, right? I'm just gonna show up and keep doing the damn thing, right? But when I look at video, okay, look at live, okay, let's just scroll down to when it all began. So keep this in mind. We've been going 4 months right here. First episode of Justice's Way. Well, it was more of like an announcement. It's crazy, right? But first episode was. Oh, that's weird. It didn't save it as a podcast episode. That's stupid. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, 48, 52, 56, 60, 64, 68, 72, 72, 76, 80, 84, 88, 92, 96, 100, 104, 108, 112, 116, 120, 124, 128, 132, 36, 140, 44, 48, 52, 56, 60, 64, 68, 72, 75, 80, 85, 90. So over 200 episodes. Let's say it like that. Does that make sense? That doesn't make any sense. I guess we were doing more than one episode a day. So it does make sense. 4 months, it should be like 120, right? One show a day would be like 120 episodes. But yeah, we made it 90 minutes. So hey, let's eat the rich and get out of here. Sorry we got banned for saying racism stupid. I'll find a better way to say it. Oh, but I didn't even look. That was the whole point of what I was doing was looking at when did the show start? Because then you could just do it by the day, right? Video, shorts, lives. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna go back to the original episode and see when that was. Okay. December 11th. So if anybody wonders what the Annie is, like what the anniversary of the show is, December 11th. Or technically, the first actual 90-minute episode came out on December 12th. So 12/12 is the anniversary. So if you wondered how many episodes there were, you could go from there. So we're coming up on, so wait, January, February, March, April, May. Okay, so in 8 days, it'll be 5 months straight. Anyway, have a good rest of your day. Try not to let them get to you. And that's what I'll do. And I'll see you tomorrow. Is that cool? You found a week or so later. Look at all y'all. I cannot be told anything today because the Pacers and Cavs play at today. And the Rockets play game 7, but I'll be snoozing by then. So, the Warriors. Mm-hmm.